We have finished the previous class with the larynx, which is respiratory pathway and also sound box. Please cease all conversations, really very exhausting, always overcoming your voices. Trachea is continuation from the larynx air pathway, starting on the level of 6th cervical vertebra where larynx is finished, and is continued until, please, no conversations, until the bifurcation at the principal bronchi, which will be on the level of 5th, almost 5th thoracic vertebra. So you see that trachea are situated in two parts of our body, in neck, cervical vertebrae, and in thorax, rib cage. Two parts. The first one is shorter, the second is longer. Trachea is made out of cartilaginous skeleton connected with ligaments, but also got normal layers of every other tube-like organ. This is section. Understand this picture. This is horizontal section. Like we cut it through like this and then put it on the paper. So we can see these cartilages of trachea. They are not these, no conversation. These are not full ring shaped. There is some space in between their posterior sides. So trachea is made out of 16 from 16 to 20 not whole cartilages, ring shaped, connected with ligaments, which are called ligamenta annularia, because the cartilage in the shape of a ring and annulus is a ring. So ligamenta annularia, connecting them together, forming this tube skeleton. Outside it's covered with adventitious coat. Inside, this is adventitious coat. Inside it is of course mucous membrane with what type of epithelium? Ciliate.
Squamous.
No, squamous.
Stratified, pseudo-stratified.
Okay, you will verify it during the lecture and nervous system, and I'll ask it again during the shot. We'll see. The posterior side of trachea is not cartilage. Why? Do you got any ideas? Why? Posterior, back side.
Because of bang.
Esophagus has to be there.
So,
While passing down the bolus, it has to modify its size. That's why.
brilliant, very, very good explanation. Yes, of course, they are really very close. They are so close we can't even separate them correctly when, for example, during autopsy. And as you very well said, the esophagus needs to change its lumen, and if the ring was fully shaped, the trachea will be constantly pushing esophagus, making us painful all the time. That's why there is this soft place, which is called pars membranosus, membranous part of the trachea. This is muscle. This is muscle, but not like muscle which iron walls of the esophagus. Not like this. Partly muscles, partly connective tissue. Pars membranosus of trachea. So this very simple organ, actually. Let's continue with the lungs, and then we'll come back to the bronchial tube, because without the lungs it won't be so understandable. So the lungs, let's see them on the picture, let's see them on the model. They are paired organs. Now we finally reach the organs of respiration, not only the air pathways. Where are the lungs? Really. The lungs. They are shaped like a conus, conical structure they got. So they got base, the widest part, and apex. They got surfaces. This, I will make a spoiler for you, this is left lung.
Left lung.
So it's got costal surface, which is in contact with the ribs forming the thorax. There is diaphragmatic surface, which is on the base, with which lungs are situated on diaphragm. There is medial or mediastinal surface, with which lungs are facing large blood vessels, esophagus in between them, and also heart will be situated here. And because this is left lung, it got cardiac notch and lingua pulmonis for the heart. And there is also a very small space which can be called vertebral surface, because with this surface the lungs are attached to the bodies of the vertebrae. What is next? There are some borders. For example, this is anterior border, this is inferior border. What else in the lungs we can describe? There is lobes in the lungs. In the left lung there is two lobes, superior and inferior, divided with one oblique fissure. In the right lung there will be three lobes, superior, middle and inferior. In between inferior and middle there will be the same oblique fissure, but in between the middle and superior there will be horizontal fissure. Very well said. Let's see if we can observe it in the picture. Yes, we can. Here it is. This is left lung, superior, inferior. This is right lung. We can see here superior, middle, inferior. But it's not always this visible like we have seen now in the body. Not so visible in the real life. Anyway, then what else is important about the lung? This depression with vessels and other structures, which is called hilum pulmonis. Yes, what you pronounce as hilum pulmonis. Through this not really opening, through this part of the lung, the blood vessels, nerves, bronchi are coming in and out of the lung. It's the same as it was for liver. It's the same. There is some difference about what structures in what order come into the left and into the right hilum of the lung. And for that, there is a picture. Let's see what the pictures are presented here. There we go. These are scheme. I'll give you opportunity to take pictures from these schemes. This one is right lung, this one is left lung. So let's see. In the right hilum, first comes principal bronchi, then no aorta, pulmonary artery, then pulmonary veins. In the left hilum, first comes pulmonary artery, then principal bronchi, then veins. And this is the tricky part. I told you that lungs are part of small circulation, so there is difference in the type of the vessel and blood that comes through it. In the pulmonary artery, the venous blood comes, and through the pulmonary veins, oxygenated aortal blood comes. So you see, this is what confusing in the lungs. But this is because we name the vessel not on the type of the blood, but on the direction into which the blood goes. So what comes from the heart, it is always arteries. What comes into the heart, it is always veins, no matter what blood it is. And into the lungs, from the arteries, the blood comes from the heart, deoxygenated, and by the veins it comes backwards, oxygenated already. That's why this misnaming for the blood vessels of the lungs. And also in the hilum there will be lymphatic vessels and nerves, but they got no this strict order like the blood vessels and the principal bronchi. Now about the principal bronchi. Maybe I forgot something about the lungs. We'll see.
Principal bronchi.
Now the division of bronchial tree. We have studied the trachea. The trachea is finished by the bifurcation of the principal bronchi. Then all the bronchi are separated again and again into the
Primary, secondary,
bronchi smaller
tertiary.
and smaller size, and they're not only different in size but also in structure. So they are called bronchi of different order. This is called bronchi of order. First of all, are
Primary
principal
bronchi.
bronchi, which are bronchi of first order. Then there are lobal bronchi,
Lobe.
which are going in the left lung. Superior lobar bronchi coming to the superior lobe, inferior to the inferior. The same is on the right side, but there will be three lobular bronchi because there are three lobes. Then there are different segments of the lungs. We are not studying them all. There is a scheme showing how many segments there are in different lobes. But then lobular bronchi are separated into segmental. Segmental will be each of them separated in two, and this will go until that moment when everything will be finished with terminal bronchiole. Bronchiole is the smallest bronchiole. Terminal bronchiole is the moment where bronchial tree is finished. And we can see, we have seen the trachea is made out of almost whole ring-shaped cartilage. In the walls of bronchi, the cartilages are also presented, but starting from the principal bronchi, which looks like the trachea very much. The cartilages are getting smaller and smaller, and then, what is the word? Vanishing. There is no more cartilage. They are getting smaller, and then there is no cartilage. And the last bronchi in bronchial tree, mind this difference in bronchial tree, is terminal bronchiole. Then there will be alveoli. Alveolar tree is called acinus, and this is
The place.
structure functional unit of lung,
Lungs.
of pulmon. Again, structure functional unit is the smallest part of organ that performs the function of a whole. Let's see what there are pictures about. This is showing the features of the lungs and segments in number, just in number. We understood them. If you will be surgeons, thoracic surgeons performing operations, surgery on the lungs, you will study the segments of the lungs. Now we're not wasting our time. This is bronchial tree. So we can see here, trachea, first order principal
Primary
bronchi,
bronchi,
lobular
second.
bronchi, second order, third order segmental
Tertiary
bronchi,
bronchi.
each segmental into
Bronchioles.
fourth order, then fifth order, terminal bronchiole. Maybe more, it's not always the same. Then alveolar tree. And alveolar tree, please pay attention. Alveolar tree is now that part of respiratory system where exchange of
Of
gases
gases
takes
takes
place. In the division of bronchi,
No
no
exchange
exchange
of
happens.
gases.
This is still respiratory passages, respiratory pathways. Now, acinus or alveolar tree. Alveolar tree consists, starting with respiratory bronchioles, then alveolar ducts, and finally alveolar
Alveoli.
sacs. It looks like grapes.
The-
If you have grapes, I don't know.
Yes.
Does grapes grow in India?
Yes, yes,
Very much.
Yes.
India transports
I'm,
grapes.
I'm
Export
saying
करता
this
है.
because I'm used because of history classes that grapes are growing in the Greece.
No, ma'am.
That's
In
why
India
this
also.
connection happens into my mind.
In India.
You see there is lots of small, very small sacs. These are alveolar sacs. There is no cartilage anymore.
Simples common.
There is special fluid that covers these alveolars,
Alveolar fluid.
preventing them to collapse.
Да.
special fluid that got not cartilaginous cells, but what is the name of it? Let me help. I'll remember the word. I'll tell you. So
Fluid का नाम? Lumen.
there is some chemical what is the word?
It's
Never
okay.
mind. I'll remember, I'll tell you. So this is arsonus. This is arsonus as it is really in a lung covered with, you see, a lot of blood capillaries. Through the wall of the arsonus, which is one cell, and through the wall of capillaries, which is also one cell, the exchange of gases happens. So you see only two cells are separating the gases in our blood and the gases from our external space. And in these, all of these small sacs, the diffusion of the gases happens. This is the part of the lungs where respiration takes place. Now, about the pleura. You will be able to take pictures and ask me questions later. Now, pleura. Pleura, as I told you, is serous cord that covers both lungs, right now, and the walls of thoracic cavity. So, visceral pleura is covering the lungs, parietal pleura is covering the walls of thoracic cavity. In between them, there is sac happening to be. This is pleural space, pleural cavity with very small amount of pleural liquid, which is moisturizing the surface of lungs and helping them in the movement that they perform since the conversation, helping them in movement during the process of increasing and decreasing their size through the process of respiration, because they need to increase their volume to take air in and to decrease their volume to take air out. Let's see if there is a picture representing. So the blue color here is the visceral pleura that covers the lungs, and then there is red color pleura that covers the walls of thoracic cavity. The walls are, there is rib cage walls, there is diaphragm, and then there is these walls of, on the medial surface of lungs. So you see there will be two layers very close to each other. And this medial list of pleura is bounding that's complex of organs which is called mediastinum. This again you can repeat through lections in our system. Mediastinum is not space. It's complex of organs situated in between the lungs.
Mediastinum.
Mediastinum. Find the previous book, it is written here. Mediastinum, yes. Which exactly means between walls. Mediastinum. This is complex of organs, which will be large blood vessels coming from the heart, for example. The heart itself will be in the mediastinum. Trachea, esophagus. Mediastinum is divided into two parts. The anterior mediastinum and posterior mediastinum, in which the esophagus mainly presented, and also the thoracic part of aorta. So this is posterior mediastinum. The division is on the roots of lungs, happens to be on the posterior side of the roots of lungs. What is on the front of them, it's anterior mediastinum. What is on the back of them, it's posterior mediastinum. Heart is an anterior mediastinum and large blood vessels. This is thymus, but thymus is presented only in children. Adults got no thymus. Forgot the word. Turns into the fat tissue in adults. What else? And then these pleural sinuses. Already told you, repeating again, these are two layers of parietal pleura. One is covering the rib cage, the other one is diaphragm. These are deep pockets formed with this pleura in which liquid are accumulated, and these are pleural sinuses. We need to study them because if there is some pathological process going on, everything that will be stored in these sinuses, the same as it was in the abdomen. Every pocket should be always checked because everything that is wrong happening in these pockets. Now, you can take the pictures, and while I'm sitting quietly, you can process the information and ask me if I have forgot to tell you something, because maybe I forgot.